Latics Football Phone-In, proudly sponsored by Legacy Pets. Being a Latics fan is for life, and so are our pets. No one wants to think about what happens when we lose them, but when we do, we need to know that both them and us are in good hands. Legacy Pets have worked with animals for over 20 years and understand what it means to have lost a beloved family pet. They're also Latics fans, so if you do need their pet cremation services someday, they are dedicated to providing compassionate support just like we do on the phone-in. Visit legacypets.com and tell them that you're part of the Latics family too. Easy boy.
It's Thursday night. It's been alright. Gonna have your say on the football. Mad and sexy day.
It's a bullet for Norwood. They might get on the end of it. It's Norwood. He's got it.
It's football. It's football. It's the football phone. The Latics football phone. It's the football phone. The Latics football phone. It's the football phone. The Latics football phone.
Hello, oh God, all over the place. Hello, welcome to the Latics Football Phone-In. It's just me tonight because Dave's on holidays in Turkey again. I don't know how many holidays he goes on in a year, but it's a lot more than me and your average Joe. So, yeah, I'm flying solo this evening. I've got Ibby and Chris waiting in the green room, so I'm going to bring them straight in. I have got no Dave to chit chat with, so here we go. Let's have a chat with Ibby first. Let's get up and rolling. Hi, Ibby.
Evening, Matt. You okay?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. Are you?
Yeah, I'm okay, mate. Last weekend wasn't very good at Salford.
Miserable, really. It was.
Yeah, we're on a little bad run at the moment.
Well, yeah. I mean, we've 1 point in the last three games, haven't we? So it's not the best. What frustrated me a bit was I thought they were there for the taking. I thought we could have beaten them. I thought on balance, I think they were probably the better team, but I think that's just because we didn't get going. I thought that they started the game slowly, and if we'd have been at the races, I think we could have beaten them.
Yeah, Matt, you're absolutely spot on what you're saying. There needs to be a response this Saturday coming. It will be tricky, but I think we can beat them. I keep saying it that someone's going to get a lettering from us very soon. But we just need to start playing properly. Well, last Saturday was miserable. It wasn't great, really. And we should have beaten them. But as you know, there's no guarantee for nobody. You have to do well in 90 minutes and see what you can do. But this Saturday is a must-win game, I believe.
I think it's probably one of the most I think it's probably the most important game of the season so far because of where we're in 17th. We've one win in the last 5. We're playing a team who have been struggling for goals and conceding a lot. So, and we're at home, and we've only won 1 game at home this season. So, I think if we lose this one, it just brings and some of the results go against us. It could really drag us down towards the bottom of the table. And I think, although there's a long way to go and there's no pressure, people start to feel the pressure a little bit more. Christmas is coming quickly, and that's the point where things start to sort of get a bit serious, I think, where you are at Christmas. So I think it's the biggest game of the season so far on Saturday at home to Shrewsbury. I think we've got to pull out a win and take 3 points for sure.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct, Matt. And we just need to kick on and see what we can do because we started good, really. We were up there challenging, but then sadly it's just gone back down. But I'm not panicking yet. It's still early days, man, and we just need to keep the faith. But these missed chances that we're doing, we need to work on something badly because it's killing us.
Yeah, we've been poor, haven't we, in front of goal? There's no doubt about it. The finishing, Joe Garner. I mean, obviously it wasn't an easy chance, but I think he'd looking back on it, he'd fancy himself to hit the target there, getting it over the bar at the end of the game against Salford. And like Joe Garner in the playoffs last season would have buried that. That chance he scored at York was a far more difficult chance than he stuck that away. So sometimes it's one of those things where the bad luck in front of goal seems to like permeate through the entire squad, and that's what it seems like at the minute. It's not just one player that's missing chances. It's everybody. Kai Payne smashed one over the bar. Joe Quigley had a really good opportunity and just passed it back to the keeper. So it seems to be everybody that's suffering from it. So I think what would be fantastic for confidence throughout the squad would be if we could get a few goals up and put Shrewsbury away by half time, ideally on Saturday.
Yeah, you're right there, Matt. I believe in January, if we can get into January and doing well, I believe we might have to address the goal scoring issues because we do need another striker. It's not fair of me saying that because Mellon has come in, but we need a proper goal scorer in there to help Mellon because we are lacking goals.
He needs to start doing the business here, doesn't he? He needs to start putting the ball away. And I think, honestly, I think what Joe Garner did last season in the playoffs was fantastic. I thought he was absolutely brilliant, and I like him and Norwood. I think the playoffs justified them being in the squad for as long as they were. It all came to fruition and was perfect. But I think we've got to be replacing him with somebody. I'd love to keep him, but with the way that the squad is and the amount of players that are available and stuff, I think we need a younger, fitter striker that's going to be competing for a place in the starting 11. And I would imagine he'll bow out come the end of his contract. And then, of course, there's Kean Harrott, who I don't know if he's an out and out striker or what, but he's got an eye for goal. Doesn't seem to get a sniff, does he?
I don't know what's happened with him because don't know what's happened really, but I hope he can come back in the team and start delivering because we paid good money for him. And Matt, what do you make about at Salford that protest? It was not needed really. I heard what you said, and I fully agree where you're coming from.
I just think it's a dangerous precedent. I think we all go there to support Latics, and whatever side of a debate you're on when it comes to that kind of stuff, it's not welcome. I don't think anyone would welcome it on any side of a political spectrum. So I think it's just best keeping out of the game. So I was disappointed to see what happened, but again, I don't think it was actually anything to do with Salford or Salford fans. It was just being an situation being exploited by some tin pot political outfit. So it is what it is. But I'd like to see that kind of thing eradicated. And let's just concentrate on the football. I think one of the most amazing things that has happened at Latics over the last 3 or 4 years, is the way that fans have come together. I think that that we've become more united. We've become more passionate. We've fought for the club, and now we've got a club that we can all be proud of, and the atmosphere at Brownie Park is fantastic. And I just don't want to see anything jeopardise that. That's all. That's where I'm coming from. I think we're more together than we've ever been, and I think we need to try and be consistent in that and keep it going. So I'd like to just keep it about the football, and being a Latics fan has been hard work, and I'd like to see that atmosphere continues to get better because it's been brilliant. And even this season, when we've only won 5 games at home, the atmosphere has been fantastic. I noticed last night, I watched Liverpool v Frankfurt in Frankfurt, and talk about atmospheres and support. The Frankfurt fans at the end, they were losing 5-1, but unbelievable show of solidarity and support for the team. It was really, really impressive. Obviously, it didn't do them any good. They got whooped, but it was still impressive, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, you're right there, Matt. And it was nice to see that the little Wembley's getting processed with the work because the club released it today, the news.
Yeah, I think. Look, I mean, there's real progress, isn't there? There's real progress happening, and it's not going to happen overnight. And they're spending a lot of money on it, and it's about trying to create a legacy. I think I do believe that is like there is a really sort of noble kind of long term plan to leave this football club and that whole sports town complex, you know, as a legacy for for the success that they've had as business people, and that's they don't have to do that. Do you know what I mean? They don't have to put that extra work in on top of the work that they're doing already. They could, retire and go and spend money and relax, and they're not doing that. They're putting their money where their mouth is, and they're making a real effort to make things better for Oldham, and I think that they need commending for that. And I think as fans, the least we can do is get behind what they're doing and behind the team. And like his Royal Balloonist says, yeah, the atmosphere is great at away games too. We've got a travelling sport that we can all be proud of. What I will say, I agree with that wholeheartedly, of course. What I will say is that on Saturday against Salford, I think that the belief kind of waned from the team a little bit, from the supporters a little bit. I think, for a local game, at 12:30 kickoff doesn't help because everyone's still a bit sleepy, I think, by the time they're in there at 12:30. But I think that the atmosphere, once the team started to give a bit more towards the end of the game, the atmosphere got a little bit better. But I think there was a bit of it. I don't think the fans thought we were going to pull it out of the bag on Saturday, and I think you could tell in the atmosphere. But apart from that, I mean, fans have been absolutely superb this season. So yeah, we just got to ride through this because we've had some bad luck. It'd be like Luke Hannant, I think, has been really good for us. He got that horrible injury, gash knee apparently. So. I thought he was playing well on Saturday down that left hand side. Our biggest threat came down that left hand side, and then that happened. So with Will Sutton sending off was, I think, it was possibly a bit harsh. So we were a bit unlucky, but at the same time, we've got, like you said, we've got to take our chances.
Yeah, Matt, you're spot on. I really hope there's a response this Saturday, and but Mike Fondop has to come back into the team, I believe.
I thought he made an impression when he came on. No doubt about it. I think he's definitely a lot more aggressive. He's a lot more powerful, and he's a threat, isn't he? But again, like his goal scoring this season, his goal scoring record's not very good. He's got one goal, I think, this season. So it's you win as a team and you lose as a team, and they've all got to play their part. And I don't. There's no magic wand, is there? But I think Conlon missing is a big miss. It's a real. In terms of organisation, is it? I think Bobby is saying Daniel should be back soon, so I hope so. I think we need him in the team. Andy said on the podcast that he'd go with 3 at the back and go with the wing backs. So we'll see what Mickey decides to do on Saturday, but 3 points are essential, I think.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Matt, for having me on. I got nothing more to say. Look after yourself.
No worries. Yeah, all the best. Take care.
Yeah, thank you.
See you later. Right, we'll bring Chris in now. Hi, Chris.
Good evening, Matt. How are you?
I'm all right. Have you just been to the gym?
No, I'm actually on holiday at the minute. I'm actually in a car park in a caravan site. It's the only place I could get some quiet.
Oh, right, fair enough. Yeah, because last time it was saying I thought you'd just come out of the gym again.
I know. It seems car parks are the best place to come on. Chat.
Do you often sit in car parks talking to strange men on the internet, Chris?
Yeah. Well, a bit of that, and sometimes just talking to myself after work, trying to talk myself out of not leaving, I guess. So.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. How are you feeling after this recent little patch?
I'm actually concerned. And at the start of the season, when we'd not won a game in, what was it, 6? We'd not won a game in. And then we played Cambridge the 7th game and we beat them, right? Something like that. After we'd not won in the first 6, I wasn't worried because I was looking at the I'm an XG man, and I'm an XG man for one reason. It shows how many chances you're creating. And you can say, well, it's all about the goals that you score that win games. But if your XG is really high and you don't score, you've had a bad day. You've been unlucky. But if your XG is 0 and you're wondering why you're not winning, well, it's obvious you're not creating any chances. Now, my concern is this. Mellon and Quigley up front. And I'm a bit concerned. Sorry, is it?
No, it's okay. You're okay. I thought we had lost you, but you're back.
Oh, no. I'm just saying the Quigley and Mellon combination up front has got to stop. It doesn't work. And what's concerning me most is not necessarily the team, because I think the team could be changed at any point. What's concerning me is that Mellon Senior has not realised the obvious issue. And the most obvious it's been was at Notts County when they played through us. Notts County, for me, are the best team we had played this season. But I think we made them look very good because they just played through us. They played out of the back. Quigley, I like Quigley and I like Mellon as individuals. I think he's got some good qualities between them, but they don't close down. They don't close down. And against Notts County, they just played through us. The midfield aren't fast enough anyway. For me, the reason I wasn't concerned at the start of the season is even though we got beat off at home to Gillingham 1-0, we were all over them. Even though we drew at home to Colchester, we were all over them. We're the better team. And I know Andy mentioned the XGs in those games were way higher than they should be. And for me, it was only a matter of time before we absolutely went and wiped the floor with somebody. The problem is now, and I've not looked at this, but I would say in the last 4 or 5 games, the XG has been the lowest it's been all season. And for me, it's down to the lack of movement up front. And I posted something on Facebook the other day, and I called it the Norwood effect. And what I meant by that was Norwood, when he's on the ball, he exudes quality. He had so much quality on the ball. The problem was you couldn't get him on the ball. And the number of fans who'd say, "Oh, he's not scoring goals because we're not creating chances." Well, he didn't move fast enough, and I think there's an air of that with Mellon as well. He's not. He doesn't do enough off the ball. I think he's quite a hard target to hit. Now we can say something about the chances missed. Everyone misses a chance here and there, but for me, him and Quigley as a combination is really, really bad for this team. The start of this season, even when we were getting beat or we were drawing at all, we looked like we were difficult to play against. At the minute, we're not difficult to play against. And for me, defence always starts at the front. If the players up front are not putting pressure on defenders, you've got a problem. And this is the problem we're falling into. I think Mellon is going to cause an issue because he's Mickey Senior's son, and they're not going to want to drop him. But one of those has to be dropped. You had, at the start of the season, you had Fondop and Drummond, who for me are still the best athletes at the club. They cover the most ground, they do the most work. They're an absolute pain in the backside to play against. They're not starting. Quigley, good player individually. He's not mean enough. He don't put a foot in. Mellon, you could quite conceivably see him playing for 90 minutes and him not touching the ball. And, there will be issues all over the park where, that don't help. But for me, Mellon is the same as Norwood in that if they play, you carry them for most of the game. They're not going to do much else than score. And I don't think we're a good enough team to do that. If we were a team like Gillingham or Walsall at the top of the league, we could carry a player like Mellon. The players we've got enough aren't good enough. At the start of the season, we looked hard to beat because we worked hard, we covered the ground, we closed players down. With them two up front, you're carrying 2 players, and it's a problem.
Do you think there's a link?
That's what I think.
No, I know. I think there's some validity to what you're saying. I think there's, talk about having Fondop and Drummond further up the pitch. They're probably more likely to press and do that work, create the chances. But I mean, Drummond famously is getting poor Drummond. You know, a lot of those XG chances fell to him, didn't score. You know, like so. You can maybe understand then Mellon saying, "Well, look, you've had your chance, you've done this. You know, giving other players a chance." But I think we started the season. I think a lot of us were impressed because even though we weren't winning, there was a sort of like a higher press up the pitch. We weren't sitting back. And the style just seemed to have changed a little bit. I agree with you in that front. I think it's probably difficult as well for players like Mellon to some degree to drop quite so far and not be playing with the same caliber of players that he used to play. He's not the kind of player that he's going to like. He's got so much kind of natural ability because these players are few and far between. And they don't have to go out on loan in League Two where they pick up the ball and they can just run it and they can just take it and they can do all those amazing things. He needs players around him to help get the best out of his game. So I think there's probably a bit of a learning cycle for him in that respect as well.
I get that.
And the players around him.
I completely agree. And by the way, I just want to say this, I'm not criticising Quigley and Mellon as individuals, as players. You know, they're very good players, but both of them, I think that they are. But it's their nature to not press. It's their nature to not do what Fondop does or what Drummond does. And that's fine. They can't help that. That's who they are. But what I'm saying is, as a pairing, it doesn't work.
Yeah, no, I get you. And I think getting the right pairing is important, really important.
If Mellon was our player, if he'd have come through our youth system or if we'd have signed him on a free, I'd have a bit more patience with the fact that he's got this to learn, he's got that to learn. We've probably got him till January. So for me, he can learn what he wants. He can read all the books and watch all the programs on great strikers that he wants. He's not here in January. I don't care. I want this team to develop, and he's not going to be part of the team for very long. There's two things that could happen with Mellon. He either doesn't do very well, and eventually we realise, well, we don't want you at this club much longer. You're not really what we're looking for. Or he has a brilliant time until Jan, and then he goes off to a higher club. So if Mellon came in and it's like, wow, he really adds to this team. He does this, he does that, he does the other. Then I'd have more sort of patience with it. The problem is, between the two of them, they make our team weaker. As individuals, is Quigley a better footballer than Fondop? I probably think he is. He's better quality on the ball. Is Mellon better than the forwards that we've had? Most certainly he is. But together, they don't work in this team. They make us weaker. And I just think this season, we looked at it being a consolidated season. We're only going to get there by being hard to beat. And with those two, we're not. And I get what you're saying with Mellon, but I don't think we can have that patience because either way, he's not going to be at the club much longer, is he?
Well, we have to be patient until January because we won't be bringing anybody in until then. But this is
it. I don't think we need to. I don't think we need
Well,
Mellon.
That was good. Well, the fact is we've got who we've got. So the question is, what do we need? So let's just say, I'm just going to, for sake of argument, let's say Joe Garner's contract is not renewed and he leaves in January.
Yeah.
Do we need a strike partner as such for Mellon, or does a number 10, more of a playmaker, somebody in that role? We've been playing with two strikers, or a target man and Mellon. Drummond, I don't think really works as in that number 10 role. Probably better off coming off from the side. So the question is what kind of player complements Michael Mellon?
I think between Fondop and Drummond, you've got a very dangerous front three. And I think Fondop, is it his natural position? Probably not. But between him and Drummond, they can cause so many issues in closing players down. And what really surprised me most, I'm going back a few weeks now, but against Notts County, I feel as though we didn't close down from Quigley's side. Drummond managed it, quite a few times. He tried to close down. What I struggled to understand was why Quigley wasn't subbed at half time. For me, it should have been Fondop on for Quigley. You'd have had two players up front working hard, and Mellon can sit then because those two will do your work up front.
Have we got the players for a 4-3-3 though at the minute? Is that what you're saying, or a 3-5-3, or what?
Well, I mean,
Well, that
at the
doesn't work.
minute,
That doesn't work, does
we-
it? That's too many players,
Yeah.
isn't it? 3-5-3. That doesn't work.
Yeah.
No,
well,
3-5-2. You know,
sorry, no,
so if you spend three up front,
no.
like you know, how does it
Well,
work?
we're giving Notts County there as the example. That's what I would have gone with on that day. What do we go with at the minute? I'm not sure. Drummond for me, and I know who is it who calls him speedboat no driver. I don't agree with that. I don't agree. If you've not got a brain, you've not got football. If you've not got a football mind, you don't get the number of chances that Drummond gets. And for me, if we go back a few weeks, I'd have just stuck with Drummond and let him keep missing. Because as soon as he bags one, he will bag a few.
I hope that he was.
Players who don't score are the players who don't get chances. He gets loads of chances. You just can't finish them.
Yeah, I know. And I was watching, like I said before, the Frankfurt v Liverpool game last night, and that new lad who's just signed for Liverpool from Frankfurt, I can't remember his name, but he went. It was pure Kane Drummond territory. Frankfurt were pressing, hit him on the break. He had to run over half the length of the pitch with the ball, but. And I'm not comparing the two like for like, but he made a decision early. You know what I mean? He plenty of space between him and the keeper. Decided what he was going to do, put it away. That kind of composure. Whereas Drummond just keeps going until he's closed down all the options. Yeah. So I hope like those are the kind of things that in training and so that he's got to be doing that kind of stuff religiously in training and practice.
Well, you'd hope he is,
So that when he gets these chances, now the next time he gets one of those chances, he knows what he's going to do with it. Because that makes all the difference. Because I tell you, if Kane Drummond scored three goals this season, 3 or 4 goals this season, you'd be saying his contribution has been really, really good. Yeah, and that's the difference. All
he's not doing is put his chances away.
So I mean,
but now he don't get chance at all, does he?
When the whole team plays well, it makes individuals look better. Yeah. And when you have a good day or a bad day, so Notts County was a real off day for everybody. I don't think Mickey Mellon got the formation right that day, but it's everybody needs to be having a good. And I think the formation was part of that. That's why I'm not sure about the three up front. I think Andy's right. I think Andy's got he could be right about the playing 3 at the back this weekend.
I think that could work. I know quite a lot of last season people saying we don't have enough pace. That's happening again now because Drummond doesn't play. Fondop, I'd argue, is the other quick player. Where's the pace now in the team? Caprice, he's got pace.
Dagan here, who's actually waiting in the green room about rating Drummond, and I think like you, Chris, is the only player with that electric pace in the squad.
Yeah,
and it's a threat. And I thought that I thought he could have done with him coming on Saturday a bit earlier because he was the one person that could break behind that with the Salford line, and Salford played quite high up. So I think
whether you like him or not, you can't. He is a threat. Teams will not play a high line when Drummond's there. We saw, was it I think Cambridge. He came on towards the end. We'd scored, and he came on towards the end, and Cambridge were trying to push forwards. And I reckon Drummond had been on the pitch 5 minutes, and he completely destroyed their line. And then from then on, they knew they couldn't sit forward. They went deeper again. When Drummond's not on the pitch, or when we've got Quigley and Mellon up front, opposition can play defenders wherever they want. They'll catch them.
Yeah, and you said earlier on as well about Quigley's strength for a big guy. He does get muscled off the ball a bit too much, I think.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
I think that's the difference when you see Fondop.
Great.
Yeah. No, he is. I think he's technically he's a good footballer.
He's a better player.
Like he knows when he's heading it, he knows where it's going, and his touches and some of his layoffs and things like that are good. But
if I was a defender, I was playing against Quigley, I'd be like, he's a big lad, but I'll probably be able to handle him. If Fondop came on, I'd be like, I've got to deal with this now for. It's a much harder prospect, even if you think Quigley's a better footballer. For me, as a centre half, that doesn't matter if Fondop stood in front of me. I don't want him there.
Oh God, no! And he's brute strength, isn't he? He really is. But yeah, look, we need. we need the team to start scoring. It's obviously the main job falls to the strikers, but we've got to start getting more goals from around the pitch. We've got to get more goals from set pieces, from corners.
I think the balance is wrong at the minute, and that's what worries me. It's that, you know, like I said, start of the season we were losing and drawing, and I wasn't worried because we looked a good team. I don't think we look a good team now, and I don't. The players don't become bad players overnight. So for me, it can only be the balance. So that needs to change. And if he goes into weekend and it's Quigley and Mellon up front still, I'm getting a bit worried. I think at home you get away with it a bit more because you're expected to dominate the ball. But when you're playing away from home, you're not expected to dominate that ball. If Quigley and Mellon are up front, I'm going to start to worry soon because he must see the issue with them two up front. He's got to.
Well, whoever it is who plays on Saturday, like, they have to do the business. And if Quigley and Mellon start up front and they score a couple of goals between them in the first half and start well, then fine. If it works, fine. But what he's got to do, I think, on Saturday is if it's turning into a stalemate, because I think that's the most likely scenario. I think the most likely scenario, Danny asked here for a prediction on Saturday, and I think the most likely scenario, if we don't score early, is it starts turning into a stalemate. And we
don't want Barrow again.
No, we keep doing the same things over and over, and it's just not working. I think Mellon's going to have to. He's either going to be brave in his starting lineup and try something which is, you know, pretty attacking and trying to get on the front foot and get ahead for a change, because we've not been ahead much this season. And if it's not working, do something a bit more drastic than take off the right back, bring on another right back, you know, and just kind of do the sort of same for same kind of, which he's you know, he's quite what's the word? He does quite often. So that would be once the frustration kicks. We've got to win at home on Saturday. We've got to beat Shrewsbury at home.
We've got to win. We can't have another Barrow. If we don't beat Shrewsbury, there's going to be a lot of worried fans. I'll tell you that. The attitude will change a lot, and my attitude will change significantly if it's them two up front again. We can't have another Barrow
unless they both bag early. I think the mentality has to be.
I hope I'm wrong, but I've seen this now 4 times. I think they've started, and it's been garbage all 4 games, in my opinion.
I think that the attitude needs to be, and look, the atmosphere won't be the same, and it's a completely different game. But the attitude and the intensity has to be on Saturday, Halifax in the playoffs. That has to be the like. This is what we need to do. We need to go out against a team that's low in confidence, concedes a lot of goals, put them under a lot of pressure early on, get lots of shots, lots of corners. Let's put them under a lot of pressure, get the crowd going, and that has to be the intensity from the start of the game. And I think
shoot from the edge of the box, please.
And in order to do that, I think he needs to play Pett in the middle. He needs to play. You know, we need the width, whether it's Caprice or Drummond out on the right hand side, and it needs to be a very sort of, you know, attack-minded formation and team. So and then that
will definitely agree with
that'll make us all feel a lot. 3 points at home and a couple of goals, a clean sheet, hopefully, will make us all feel a lot better. And then we've got the FA Cup the week after against Northampton, which is, you know, not so much. It's a free hit insofar as if you go out.
I fancy a cup run this year. We won't go down. We won't finish in the playoffs. In my opinion, at the minute, I fancy a third rounder, fourth rounder.
Would love it.
Big home side. I'll do that. If we get that and a mid-table finish, that's a cracking season for me.
Absolutely. The excitement of being in the third round FA Cup draw, I absolutely love it. It's
unreal,
so
isn't it? Yeah, it's brilliant.
Oh, it's so exciting, and especially because it's, you know, it's few and far between for us in recent years. So, so that'd be nice. But like, you know, the league is the most important thing, and then we've got a trip to Harrogate then the week after. Who again are one of those?
I'm not sure. I've not looked at actually.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah,
they're doing better than we expected, aren't they? They're doing better than we expected.
Well, they're a point behind us as it currently stands in 19. So
but I know a lot of fans were expecting to be rock bottom with Cheltenham this season. But
I think they struggled, didn't they, last season? But look, I mean, the teams that Newport are having an absolute nightmare. They're bottom. And then Crawley, Cheltenham, Shrewsbury, Accrington, Stanley, Harrogate, Tranmere, and Oldham. So. You know, we're in the mix, you know, at that end of the table now, rather than at the top end of the table. But a couple more wins, and we'll be moving in the right direction.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But
Right, Matt. I've got to get off anyway. Pal.
Yeah. All right, mate.
Yeah.
Take care. Thanks for calling in.
Cheers. Nice
Later.
speaking to you. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, you
Bye.
too. Take care, mate. Bye. Right, that's it. Yeah. Right. I've got Dagan waiting. I think you want to come in, mate. Oh no, he's gone. I think sometimes people are watching on the link when they think that they're actually you know what I mean, on the calling link. So right, yeah. So Dave's in Turkey. Yeah, I noticed he didn't call in just to say hello, which is typical of Dave. What I will mention, I've got here, because we've got no Wheel of Wonder, because I'm at home, you see. Oh, hang on a minute. Dagan, do you want to come in? Turning his phone around there. Hello? No, he doesn't want to. Right. What I was going to mention, because I haven't got the Wheel of Wonder with me, because I'm doing this show from home today. So I wanted to reiterate what Sun on the Sands holidays were saying in terms of the prizes. So if you win on the draw, if Oldham finish in the playoff spots at the end of the season, we'll increase the holiday break from 3 to 5 nights, right? So that's good. If Oldham win the playoffs or finish in the automatic spots and gain promotion to League One, we'll increase the holiday break from 3 to 7 nights. In addition, if Mellon scores double figures before his current loan spell expires in January, we'll give out an extra long weekend break of 3 nights to the first caller on the phone in January after that initial loan has expired. So we could really do with that, really. We could really do with Mellon getting 10 between now and the end of the season. Is that possible? Mike in France, is that possible?
No.
Anything's possible.
Well, of course it's possible, but I would say it's
Unlikely.
I just wanted to say what Chris was just saying. I totally agree. Playing Fondop and the fear that other teams have when he's on the pitch is palpable. You can really sense it. And I think one of the commentators the other day was saying that you know, their centre half had said before the game, you know, the only person he feared in the whole league was Fondop. I
think that was Barnett, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, I can't remember. It was recently anyway, but
yeah.
I mean, he does have that reputation, and they don't like him. And there's a good reason for it. You know, when the ball gets lumped up towards him, I mean, a lot of people say that Quigley's good on the ball and blah, blah. I seem to feel that practically every time that Fondop gets that ball, when it's lumped up, it goes to a blue shirt. Okay? He controls it well, and he offloads it. He doesn't do anything else with it at that point, but he can offload it when there's no space for him to another blue shirt, and it goes to someone else, and then we can move forward. And but Quigley, every time he takes the ball up, it just seems to we lose possession very quickly, and you lose the impetus. And what you really need in these games is to have some control on the ball, some possession on the ball, have some structure, some time on the ball, some you know, you need to start controlling the game and putting the pressure on them and making them shit themselves because they've not got the ball. Okay, possession's a key thing, and this is another thing about the way we played all season that I've been like tearing my hair out about this. Every time there's a ball coming into our box and we clear it, it invariably goes to one of their players, and then they just have another go, and they have another go, and then we clear it to one of them, we have another go. And that inviting pressure on ourselves, I mean, we've done incredibly well to let in as few goals as we have by playing like that. But it's a kind of like everyone, you know, all backs to the wall mentality and sort of siege mentality. But when that happens, you inviting the pressure onto them, you also sort of lose the fans' impetus and stuff, and people get nervous, and it all gets a bit fractious and not great. So I don't know how you do this, but when you get those clearances out, 20-yard clearances, they've got to stop going to opposition players, or don't give a 20-yard clearance, give a 10-yard one to feet or to, you
Yeah.
know,
I think that's the key. I think playing
or lump it right up, you know, into the other half and let Mellon deal with it. You know.
But then we have to get. I don't think that we get up and down the pitch quickly enough as a unit. I think that's the problem. When the ball gets clear, you've got to get out. You've got to move. But I think that then if we don't sort of pass our way out of trouble as well as other teams do either. We don't have that sense of control where we get the ball. And on Saturday it was very frustrating. We'd string 3 or 4 passes together and then we'd just lose it, and we'd run out of options, and then we're starting again. And that was the frustration on Saturday and against Notts County. I thought that we just could not get a grip of the game, couldn't get a grip of the ball, couldn't play our way out of. Just like you said, sometimes you need to just take the momentum and the sting out of the game and just keep possession. And we've struggled to do that of late, and it's frustrating. And when we, I think having Pett in the middle of the park will be a big help in that respect, because he's one player who can look after the ball better than
totally agree. If you can get, I mean, half the time Fondop's back defending, when he's on the pitch, for those back to the wall moments, and actually he's like one of our best defenders for corners and things. He's incredible at it. So
brilliant.
You can't have him in 2 places at once. That's another reason why he's almost crucial. But if
I think we found out from I think what you're talking about him heading the ball. I think that you're talking about is where his biggest asset really. He's very, very good in a defensive possession, because the thing is he's big, he's strong, and he's brave. So he's going to throw himself. I keep going back to the Liverpool game last night because it was the last game I watched, but there were some really great examples of Van Dijk, who is probably the best attacking defender at a corner. And Canute as well. They both scored 2 really good headers last night. But Fondop's the best player that we've got for running onto a cross and powering that ball across the line with his head, scaring defenders, making people get out of the way. And that's what we don't get enough balls for him to run onto and be in that position where he can head them into the goal. Because I think we've got one of the best in at this level, I'd say, at doing that, if we can get the ball on his head. And we just don't do that enough. And I think, unfortunately, like with signing Stevens, and I think he was obviously a winger that we wanted to get playing from the beginning of the season. We've lost him. We've lost hey up. There we go. What was that? We did was it the Charleston or something?
No, it was some French crooner from about 1950s.
Right. Do you know what? I went on a campsite in France, and there was a singer called Johnny Hallyday. Johnny Hallyday. Well, they were all singing Johnny Hallyday, and he was there on the campsite, and they singing, and they all went mental. Like it was like unbelievable. Anyway, that just reminded me. But yeah. I know, yeah. Because I'd never heard of him, and I looked up.
It was like their Cliff Richard.
Yeah, yeah. It was quite mad. But yeah, Fondop. Yeah, I've got to get him on the end of crosses. Caprice can deliver those kind of balls as well.
Yeah.
Drummond can get in behind you've got to get in behind the defenders and then cut balls back in for the defense.
I think
when we loft them in, they're not dangerous. So Fondop needs to be running onto a ball, cutting from the byline, and then score goals.
I think you can still use him if you can collect the ball and then just offload it. If he offloads that to Pett and then Pett to Mellon, I think you've got a little 3-way thing there. And Drummond again. If you've got Drummond in the mix there, get him involved in that. And Mellon's looked pretty impressive with back to goal. He can turn a defender and create a chance. He's just not getting those opportunities. I
do agree with what Andy said on the podcast. He's got to start taking some of the leading the line and taking the game by the scruff of the neck and showing them. He should be sure. I think any striker that comes down from that level to this level has got to be saying, I'm way too good for this, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to go down there and I'm bagging. By the time I get to January, I've got 15 goals, 20 goals, because I'm just unstoppable at this level. And all right, you know, he didn't have a pre-season and stuff, but I mean, how long do you need? We're well into the season now. You've got to be.
Yeah.
He's only a young lad, you know.
Yeah.
So hopefully, and I'm not having a go at him. I'm just saying, like, I'd like to see him display that arrogance and that determination, and show us how good he is, because there's no doubt he is good, but it. He's got to show us with goals, you know, and I hope he can switch that on starting on Saturday and bag an hat-trick against Shrewsbury.
That would be nice. It's I mean, it's not an essential. We don't have to win this game, but you do get I do get a sense that even with Chris, the previous caller, that if you have people, if you know, one or two more losses or draws or something, there's the excitement's going to sink and stuff, and then we'll be back in. We'll just assume we're back into a relegation, fucking relegation season again. I did look at the stats, and the last 30 years we were in the Football League, we'd finished in the top half 6 times.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an incredible number of years. And I'm pretty sure we had the worst points to games ratio over that period in the whole of the Football League. Because every year, it didn't matter which division we're in, we're just at the bottom of it. So we were never bouncing up. So it was just a catalogue of misery. And we got, as a fan base, we've got used to that being the case. Now, that turnaround last year has given us an opportunity to not think like that, and I think we may lose a couple more, and but if you lose the fans have been amazing this year. I've been watching it on the iPlayer thing in France, and you can hear them home or away. We win every battle with the fans. It's fantastic, and that has to keep going on. But if we lose the fans, oh God, it could be. I think
the thing is, as fans, we know it's a long, hard season, and we know that 3 wins at this stage of the season.
Yeah,
it's not great, and you need to start picking up more. You need to start picking up more wins. You need to be in a healthy position by Christmas to make the second half of the season easier to deal with, and we just know through experience like that's the case. So I think game by game, I think the fans are going to stick by the team. I don't think there's any problem. I think Saturday will be a good atmosphere. We could just be Mickey Mellon said we've only taken a lead. Was it 5 or 6 times this season?
Was it like 120 minutes over the whole of the? Was it Andy said that in the podcast? 120 minutes the whole of the season.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think we might even be, he's suggesting they might even be bottom of that pile now. So it is important because it's the mentality, it's the attitude, it's the confidence. I think missing all those chances early on in the season, not scoring the goals, not winning games, it affects the team. And it affects their belief, and it must get demoralising over time. You feel like you're working hard, you're doing everything right, and it's not happening. The longer that has to go on, the harder it is. So I think, although it's like you rightly say, it's certainly not a make or break game at the season, but I think it is a big game. As you don't get many big games at this stage of the season, but I think this is a big one. I think we do need to win it. I think we do.
Yeah. Well, I know you love your cricket. It's a bit like
a big fan.
No, when a batsman gets a good ball against him, and it's sort of demoralising thing you can do. I think you have to view those. That when you miss a goal, an open goal like we have to, the opportunities that keep coming, and there seems to be nothing you can do about it. You just have to sort of forget about it, put it behind you, and you just move on as if that never happened. It's the only way to play it.
I think, like when we're talking about, someone said in the comments about us being, aim this year is to stay up.
Yeah,
and we're doing that, and the reason you have confidence in that is when. All right, you're struggling against the teams that are further up the table. You're getting beat by Notts County, you're getting beat by Salford, you're getting beat by Gillingham, etc., Swindon. You're right, okay. Well, they're just better teams than us. They're in a better stage of their development than we are. But in order to feel confident that you beat the teams below you, you beat Shrewsbury, you beat Accrington Stanley, you beat Newport. I think we've got Newport relatively soon as well. And that's how you stay up. You stay up by just keeping that distance between yourself and the teams below you. Harrogate Town. We beat Cheltenham comfortably. We've not really played any of those teams below us yet. We've not played we've only played Cheltenham. So we've below us in the table, Tranmere, Harrogate, Accrington, Shrewsbury, Cheltenham, Crawley, and Newport. So we've not played any of them. So that'll be the big indicator of where we are. If we beat those teams, then it'll put distance between us and them, and we'll be absolutely fine. If we start losing to those teams, like on Saturday, then it does make you worry a bit. You know, even the most, and I'm pretty positive. You know that, but like you can start to just get a little bit tetchy about the situation if you're losing to the teams below you. So
it would be nice to be, fighting for promotion every season and in that half of the table than down at the, what we used to. But another thing, I think there's something else that's that we're not used to, and we're not used to a manager being around for the whole season, and we're not used to, any kind of consistency. But we've got that at the moment. We've got an uplifted sense of, that looks nice.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's
I'm on the wagon at the moment, you bastard.
Gosh. All right, so any beer will look nice. Yeah, so it's just an IPA. Yeah, it's nice.
I'll go back to my coffee.
Too late for coffee. Oh yeah, you're living in France now, aren't you? Probably doesn't affect you anymore.
It's the law.
Yeah.
So, but I don't want people to start thinking, melon out and stuff like that. I mean, I know he's got to the end of the season for his contract, and people are thinking that there may be a change at the end. But just remember what it's like when you have to. I mean, we went up a division this year, so we had to rebuild a side. That's hard enough. So this is the second side he's had to really rebuild, because he had, a lot of people in the old side weren't good enough for this league. So and every time you have to throw people out and get new people in, there's a whole messy affair that goes on. People trying to find out how each other plays, get the mentality. It's all very messy. Consistency, even if they're not the best people in the world, keep them together and keep plugging on and keep the keep kind of sense of security about your status in the side and stuff. That includes the manager, and then everything, it's a sort of, you settle a bit, and the pressure is less and less. So I just hopefully, whatever happens this season, we don't get people getting all gripey again.
Yeah, I think
on the
I don't think they will. I don't think so.
No.
I think that what is difficult about this season so far is when we've been playing well, and we started the season by playing well, but didn't pick up the points, and that's frustrating because that would
totally
just taken the pressure off a little bit. Games that we could have won, should have won, but didn't win.
Yeah.
And then when you're going into a situation like in the last few games where we're not playing particularly well, and we're not picking up points, it's just it's a little
I
bit
feel it just
frustrating.
like everybody else does. I do, obviously I do.
Yeah,
but
of
I
course.
just hope we don't implode.
No, we'll take it one game at a time. Let's beat Shrewsbury, and then we'll all feel a lot better.
Yes, cool.
Right,
All right.
rock on. Well, listen, thanks for calling in, Mike. Much appreciated.
Cheers. My pleasure.
We'll finish off. We'll go to Australia next. Cheers, mate.
All right. Okay, cheers. Bye.
See you later. Bye. Let's talk to Chris. G'day, mate.
G'day, Matt. How are you, mate? Happy Friday. Happy Friday.
Oh yeah, we're nearly there. You're there. How's
We're
it going?
there. Oh, not too bad, mate. Can't complain too much. Can't complain. Looking for a decent weekend this weekend. I was just going to bring up a point. I agree with a lot of what Chris said earlier on. I think he made up some valid points, but I'm just wondering. We don't know the inner workings of the club. We don't know. Fondop, I think, should be playing the first 65, 70 minutes, but he may not be able to. He may have a niggling injury we don't know about. So it's tricky, isn't it? It's a tricky scenario. I mean, I just hope that Mellon has a look at things, and maybe he might start with Fondop and Mellon for this game. But we just don't really know about the inner workings. We don't know that who's carrying niggling injuries and whatever. And I was just also going to mention too. Didn't Salford bring in a player last week into their team? How does that work? How can they bring in a player outside the transfer window?
I think if he's a free agent, he can move. So you can't
Okay.
transfer between clubs, but if they haven't got a club, then it's okay. So I think
So we
presumably it was
can,
that.
so we can bring
Yeah.
in someone, can we? As
We
well.
would be, yeah, we would. I think we'd be able to if they were out of contracts, you know. But the problem with out of contract players is often, you know, they're injured or they've been injury prone or they're out of contract for a
Okay.
reason. You know what I mean? They're not necessarily. I
Yeah.
mean, we've done it. We did it. We've done it in the past when and very. I'm not sure. Someone will correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not sure how many sort of out of contract players we brought in that have done a great job. There's bound to be someone now who was absolutely brilliant, but I can't think off the top of my head. But yeah, I mean, he's obviously he's got a lot of pedigree. That what's it, Barini or Bellini or whatever he's called.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we've got to be the January window will be with us in no time. We've got to. If you know Mellon Jr. might stick around, he might not stick around. Joe Garner might be gone. So you know, I would imagine they'll try and move Billy Waters on.
Yeah, I think so.
So maybe there'll be room to bring some players in January. But you've just got to
That
make
would
the
be
best of
good,
what
wouldn't
you've
it?
got, haven't you? I think that's the thing.
We do.
And teams do get better the more they play. Well, in theory, they do. The more they play together. I
Indeed.
just don't. I think we've been unlucky. I think like having Tom Conlon coming back and being sort of like the captain and the leader, and then to lose him again, like at this stage of the
Yeah, that's
season, I
not
think
great.
is a really big blow. I really do, because I think that kind of thing probably affects players a bit more than, like you said, you know, the background stuff. You know, like you tend I think players tend to look up to or respect the captain. You know, he tends to be the player that the manager picks that has the respect of the players, that the players like, that you get a reaction out of, and losing that kind of a player, I think, is a big loss. And I think we just need somebody to step up now in that with responsibility of leader. And I'm not sure I've seen it
Indeed.
yet since
No, I don't think
Conlon's got
I
injured.
don't think we've got
But
that, have we?
I'd like to see Hudson step up a bit as well as the goalkeeper. I think having a vocal goalkeeper is important. Really organise that back line, you know, shouting and screaming. Jordan Pickford, you know, England goalkeeper, he's like that. You know, I can think of a lot of great goalkeepers off the top of my head that had that about them. And I think Hudson is, you know, he's one of the first names on the sheet, or if not the first name. And I think your captain's got to be the first name on the sheet. And so I'd be looking at players like Hudson to step up, organise that back line. I'd be looking at players like Manny to step up, be more vocal, organise more. Tom Pett, who is the captain now. I think, you know, let's see some. And I thought he worked really hard, considering he was put out on the right then out on the left on Saturday. He really ran his socks off, but he's not fast enough to play those wide positions. But again, just Woods, experienced player. I think I think you're going to need 2 or 3 players to step up in order to fill the boots of Tom Conlon and his leadership.
Indeed. And we need to press more, don't we? Like, we're just giving teams too much room to run at us and create chances. And against Notts County, that was entirely evident. And last week as well, we just made it too easy.
Yeah, they were teams. They're teams that are good at that as well. Like Salford and Notts County are very good at putting you on the back foot. And if you give them the time to and the space, they'll punish you, and they did. And to be fair, we were looking at it. They didn't score more goals on Saturday. They could have easily easily could have been a 2 or 3-0 at least. So
got nasty.
Yeah.
Hey, did you did I miss something on the weekend? I don't know. I haven't heard anyone talk about it, but I thought that Caprice gave away a stonewall penalty in the down our right in the I was watching the game with my son. I thought, we've just given away a penalty, and it hasn't been mentioned in the podcast. Do you remember that? Did you remember that?
I don't remember it clearly, but I do seem to recall us all going at one point, oof, we got away with that one.
Exactly. I was thinking. I think it was we were 1-0 down already. I thought, oh shit, that's a stonewaller.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the one consolation to take out of the game is that regardless of whether they should have scored more, we still only conceded one, and our defensive record still is good. So that's something that
Still the best in the league, isn't it?
yeah, it's good for confidence, I think. But we've got to have a real go on Saturday. They've this lot of conceded 20 goals and they've only scored 10. So they're as much they're about as much of a threat as we are.
Which is not saying a lot.
It's got 0-0 written all over it, hasn't it? We can't have another 0-0 draw at home though. Come on, that'll just be no. I'm not up for that at all. So, but we'll see, Chris. We'll see.
We've just got to stick with the team, haven't we? Because I don't like it in any sport when people are saying, "Oh, I hope we don't lose the fans." I know it's emotional and it's everything else, and it's what we look forward to on the weekend. But we've got to support the team through thick and thin. Because last season, if you would have told me before the playoffs, 3 or 4 weeks before the players, we're going to make it through to League Two next year, I would have sort of laughed at you. I would have said, well, judging on what we're seeing at the moment, no, there's not a chance. But we just got to stick with the team, and I know people don't, and I just don't get that. I'm still pretty zen about what's happening. The one way I do have though, like we seem to be attacked a lot down the right with and Regan Ogle, the Aussie mullet. He seems to be struggling, and that's a little bit of a worry to me as well as not scoring goals as well. What do you think?
Yeah,
you mentioned it in the podcast as well.
Yeah, it's a step up in it. He was playing National League North a couple of seasons ago, and now he's in League Two. So it's a steep learning curve, and he was out injured. Now he's back.
Maybe he's not quite 100% fit, possibly.
Yeah, look, I really like his work rate, his effort, and I like it when he gets the ball and drives forward. He's full-blooded in his tackles. He's got a lot of attributes, and we just especially at home, let's just give them all lots of encouragement, especially when they do make mistakes. I saw at the weekend some people were saying like, "Oh, typical Latics fans, like what chanting Manny's name after he's given a penalty away." Well, that's called supporting a player. Like you've said, okay, you've made a mistake, you've conceded a penalty, but we're not. What's the alternative? Like screaming and shouting at him. I thought that was a nice touch, to be honest with you. Like fans sing Manny's name often, and then when he concedes a penalty, it's like, okay, like we don't just not going to turn on you. We're going to sing support. And I thought that was nice. I think that's what you need when players make mistakes and when they do things that aren't great. Like show them that you're not just, you can't be, like bipolar or schizophrenic, like during a game, like supporting them 1 minute and then on the back the next. Exactly. So I thought that was nice. So a clean sheet and at least 2 goals on Saturday. I think everyone's feeling a little bit better. I think
it'll be good. It'll be a nice start to the weekend, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Right, mate.
Well,
I've managed to.
You need to start looking for a new co-host. I reckon.
I needed to start. I needed to start doing that a long time ago, Chris. A long time ago.
Is he on holidays now? Is he?
He's in Turkey now.
Is it a work do or what?
No, he's just on holiday.
Oh,
yeah.
Lucky man.
I'd say he works hard and he deserves his holidays. Well, that'd be a lie.
Nice one, mate. Well, have a lovely weekend, buddy, and likely to see you next week.
Cheers, mate. Take care.
Take care, mate. Bye.
See you, mate. Bye. Well, even though Dave wasn't here and we didn't do He's Got No Hair and the Wheel of Wonder, we've managed to fill an hour, which is very impressive. So thanks very much to all the callers. Definitely appreciate you helping me out. Shout out to Around the Grounds. I don't know if he watches on a regular basis, but he's had some bad news, him and his wife this week. So shout out to him. Hope everything works out well for you, mate. And thanks for getting involved in the show. Thanks for watching. And we'll see you for the podcast. I'll be handing out fanzines for sale again on Saturday. So if you want one, keep your eyes peeled. They're also available online still if you want to order one online. So, brilliant. All right, see you at the weekend. The Latics Football Phone-In, proudly sponsored by Legacy Pets. Being a Latics fan is for life, and so are our pets. No one wants to think about what happens when we lose them, but when we do, we need to know that both them and us are in good hands. Legacy Pets have worked with animals for over 20 years and understand what it means to have lost a beloved family pet. They're also Latics fans. So, if you do need their pet cremation services someday, they are dedicated to providing compassionate support, just like we do on the phone-in. Visit legacypets.com and tell them that you're part of the Latics family too. Easy boy. Hey Dave, did you know that listeners can now buy us a coffee or any other kind of hot beverage?
Ooh,
What's your favourite hot beverage, Dave?
a macchiato.
And how do you like your macchiato?
Black with lots of milk. Oh,
No cream?
no.
Well, if you want to buy Dave
Macchiato.
then go to buymeacoffee.com/we are Oldham. I'll just have a Nescafe.
Ooh. Thank you, listeners.